on the Wake Up Radio.
I still love that intro, man. I love it. It's hot, bro. I love it. I love it. Are we here? Are we live? We ready to go?
We're live.
Okay. All right. Well, greetings, family. Thank you for joining us to another episode here. You're listening to The Clarity Code. It's a journey into wisdom, insight, and the power of clear perspective. I am your host, Omar of Omziel.
And I am Cameron from ARMU. And we are also broadcasting on onthewakeupradio.com with On the Wake Up Radio. Big shout out to super producer Cindy Ashby for bringing this all together. Yeah, bro.
Yes,
And,
yes.
you know,
That's
tonight-
Cindy. She's phenomenal, man. She helped us out with some technical stuff, man. She really is. She's a powerhouse.
She's a powerhouse for sure. She's a, film producer, part owner. She and I are partners and owners of On the Wake Up Radio. And that's a story for another day.
Okay,
And
okay, all
what
right.
what the network is, but a small plug. If there are people that want to host their own radio show, listen, this is for us, by us radio network. Like whatever y'all are paying to Blog Talk Radio, like we're never gonna disrespect you and throw in a McDonald's advertisement while you're talking about good health in the middle of your Blog Talk show. So shout out to On the Wake Up Radio. Shout out to Cindy Ashby.
Of course, much respect, much respect. All right, so let's just jump right into it, brother. Go ahead. What you got for us? Because this seems like a part two from the
Yes.
other one right here. But let's keep it going, man.
This is
Let's keep it going.
This is
And
part-
I have a little story. I'll tell you a little later about that. But go ahead. Let's
Good.
hear it.
So let me warm it up like this, right? Because I've been telling you, because like last week we said, okay, we're gonna talk about God as a female. And I've been saying to you, man, this book on the Sibyls. I gotta find this book on the Sibyls. I'm going through all my bookshelves, can't find it. Haven't seen it in months now, but I knew where it was, kind of. And so today I said, oh, let me bring out this bag that I don't normally use. And I brought it out and I found the Sibyls book. And I really wanted it for this show today because it's right in line with what we're discussing. So I found it.
Okay.
Right? And it's called The Sibyls, the First Prophetesses of Mamiwata. And if you look at that, and so we're going in because the Sibyls, I'm just gonna read this little part, right? So this is on page 7, Roman numeral 7. Gender of God, originally feminine. The gender of God was later changed from feminine to masculine. Originally, within each prophetic verse, it is claimed the Sibyls made praises to Mami as Our Lady, quote unquote, Our Lady. I know y'all heard that before. All my Catholics, I know y'all heard about Our Lady, right?
Yep. Go ahead, brother.
Sibyls made praises to Mami as Our Lady and proclaimed that she was greater than any other god in the world. Roman Senator Cicero, the orator, writes that the last 3 books of the Sibyl Hierophile were deliberately burned in a fire by the Roman governor Stilcon the tyrant. Stilcon was eternally hated by all of Rome for his sacrilegious acts, which prompted a universal reaction from poets, scholars, and musicians alike. So worshipped was this Sibyl of Cumea that she was immortalized by all of Rome in one of her appellations, Europa, for which Europe is allegedly named. The Sibyls were the original persecuted ones. And this is now page 19. Someplace in the beginning. The Sibyls are descendants of the first Neolithic clans of African warrior queens, healers, prophetesses, and priests and priestesses who were on that first ship built by goddesses to establish the new world after the great flood. Patriarchal oral history only records there being men, namely Noah and his three racially different sons. However, this is mythical and political and not historical. These three sons were all African, and there were African women, high priestesses called Sibyls, who issued forth the instructions from the divine African mother, Mami, as God, on how to build the Argos, the Ark, and the giving forth of the prophecy pertaining to the end of their world as they knew it in ancient Babylon. The thing is, with the Mami Wat, the priestesses and the oracles, they had 6,000 years of prophecy. It wasn't like a few prophecies in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They had
Mm-hmm.
6,000 years of prophetic work that, as the patriarchal age came in, they were burned, massacred, all that stuff. Like when we hear about, later in history, the burning of the witches and the Inquisition and all that stuff. Like this,
Mm-hmm.
this was all part of the war on the divine feminine. And so,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not really taught history, we don't understand what was really being done. And so, we wonder why we're at where we're at right now in history in our story. It's largely because of what was done to these Sibyls. And yes, there were men that were priests of Mami as well, but this was coming from a matriarchal comprehension of the world, a matriarchal understanding or overstanding, a
Mm-hmm.
matriarchal society.
Mm, Wow.
Just warming them
Wa-
up.
Wow, that's deep. So many levels there, bro. It's information that me personally I did not know. I did not know. There were some things that, I catch on some information like that, but it's just these types of discussions that are needed to be put out there and also to be talked about to create these conversations.
Right,
Mm,
right,
that is
yeah.
incredible.
It's
That's incredible.
because the age that we're in right now, and you and I have spoken about astrology and astronomy. Like astrology and astronomy were one science. They weren't separated the way that they are right now. And
Mhm.
so you have the physical movement of heavenly bodies, then you have the what the correspondence, the earthly correspondence, as above so below.
Mhm.
That's something that you see in so many different cultures around the world, as above so below. But what does that really mean?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so the laws of man that were created, or the laws of woman that were created, to where the universal laws were meant to be in alignment with the heavens,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They were supposed
Mhm.
to align with natural law in order for all of us to be in harmony. And that's why they would even build structures in certain places, temples, in power nodes, so that we were in alignment with nature, right?
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
age that we're moving into, what we call Aquarius,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's Mami Wata.
Mm.
Okay, we're moving into Mami Wata right now, and so people, oh, we're moving the age of Aquarius, like the
Mm.
age of Mami Wata, right?
Mm. Mm.
And then there's two ages that we're moving into, and this is coming from Dr. Charles Finch. He explains, because there's two sets of what do you call it? Two sets of zodiacs, right? You have the zodiacs around the equator; those are the ones we know about, right? The 12 houses. But then
Yes.
you also, right? But then you have the zodiacs around Polaris, around the North Pole.
Mm.
So around the equator, we're moving into Aquarius, and according to Dr. Finch, we officially Aquarius officially comes up on the horizon around 2039,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So back into the womb of the African woman, back into the emergence of the African woman, right? But then the other part of that, the one around and that's for 2,500 years, 2,600 years, something like that. But then corresponding with that, you have the Polaris constellations, and we're moving into Cepheus.
Mhm,
Cepheus
mhm, mhm,
is
mhm,
the cosmic Ethiopian king.
mhm, mhm,
So it's the reemergence of the melanated woman and the melanated man. But
mhm,
she is going to lead us into the future. She's going to lead us back to the throne. This is my
mhm,
take on it. She's going to lead us back to the throne. But what is the
mhm,
throne? The woman is the throne.
mhm,
If you look in the ancient text, you look at, and this goes back to, Jesus and Mary, Heru and Aset, or Horus and Isis.
mhm,
You see little Heru sitting on the lap of Aset. Well,
mhm,
Aset is the actual throne. And that goes to many deep places.
mhm,
But in the end of the day, there was no kingship without legitimacy through the mother.
mhm, mhm,
There were no Neset Bitties, that's what they call the pharaohs. The proper name for them is Neset Bitties. There was no Neset Bitty if you weren't coming through the mother.
Had to come through her,
Had to come through the mother.
or else no dice.
Right. And
Mm.
Abraham, didn't he marry an Ethiopian woman? You see all these characters in the Bible marrying Ethiopian women. There's a reason for that, because you weren't legitimate unless
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
you understand.
mhm,
And
mhm.
these were the lineages. They were priestess lineages, right? So that's what this book is talking about. That's I'm just giving a snapshot of what this book is describing to us,
Right.
because
Okay.
now in modern times, and I'm just going to wrap up what I'm saying with this. Now in
Mhm,
modern times, we got all these women, all these powerful women,
mhm,
especially scattered all throughout the diaspora,
mhm.
through the Americas, through parts of Africa, all like Asia, no, all these different places. These
Mhm,
powerful women whose lineage is actually of the Sibylians, of the ancient oracles, and it's their birthright. And so, brother, you got you a powerful queen over there. You got you an empress over there. You know what I'm saying? And
Thank-
and when they, you know what I'm saying, when they speak, they're speaking from a place that
mhm.
they got to guide us back.
Yeah.
They know
Yeah.
how to trust the intuition on levels that men have
Yeah.
yet to experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
That.
like I think this is going on. It's like
Right. Right. I know. I've learned, and I still, because things get in the way. I get in my own way, but usually when it comes from her, whatever she says, I always try to go with it. Like, just go with it. Even a part of me goes, not what the, but I go, you know what, look, bro, just
right,
follow whatever she said. Just go. And the kids be like, "What are we doing?" Listen, we do what mom says. Let's go.
right, right.
But thank you so much for that. That was quite incredible, bro. And there's so many levels there and deepness of it. But you made some references, and I wanted to bring up some of those things. I had heard about this, about you know in the scriptures, in the book, where Jesus had made some, or Yeshua had made some reference about. I'm gonna read the text here, what I
Okay.
found online. And I'm a little hesitant because you already know this is filled with so many things and interpretations and all of that.
Right, right.
But I'm just gonna give you what I'm seeing right here. That way, we're on the clarity code. We're getting things clear right here.
Mm,
So, in the book of Luke, chapter 22, of verse 10, it says something along the lines that Joshua had said, um, that to see, when you see when he said, look at the man, when you see him entering in the city. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me read it word for word. It says, "And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water.
mm,
Follow him into the house he." entereth in. You
Well,
see? You see?
go ahead, because
Yeah.
you look like you want to say it.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, you say it.
Look, I'm no biblical scholar, but that to me is an astrological reference.
Right.
The water bearer walking into a
Right.
house.
Right. Yeah. You see, you're taking the words out my mouth because it's telling you right there. Because those are the houses, right? Right, right. Leo is in the house of, yeah,
Right.
that's it. The one with the water. When you go to the city, you see with the water, follow them into the city. Yeah.
Right. So even then, what city
Mm.
are we now talking about? We
Right.
talking about this
Mm.
city up here?
Right.
I'm just asking a question
Right.
because
Right.
you put a bunch of houses together, like that's a village. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is
Right.
the actual word translated to city? Is it village? Is it town? Is it,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
If you look at all the constellations, I mean, if those are all different houses and different, then you could say that's a city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
These are
It's
just
it's a
questions.
lot.
You don't have to answer the questions, but
Right. Of course.
this
Of
is where
course.
my mind goes.
Yeah, mine too. I try to look a little bit deeper into some of these things, and some things that I've learned, things that, for all intents and purposes, it was hidden from me. Like you start to take that personal, like, why didn't they tell me about some of these things? Like this should be common knowledge. Like that way I can make my own choice around here.
Right.
Like for instance, I don't know if you knew this, you may have, but did you know that God had a wife?
You mentioned this last show.
Yeah. So here it is. I was looking it up a bit here, and it says that it doesn't specifically say that he had a wife, but archaeologists' evidence and some academic theories suggest that the early Israelites, see, this is open to interpretation too.
Mhm.
The early Israelites in folk or popular religious practices may have worshipped Asherah, a Canaanite goddess, as the consort of Yahweh. Right? This practice was later suppressed by the rise of the strict monotheism, which had to be a man, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right. Of course.
and see, because I'm getting this from the internet. There's like this AI stuff, so that's why if you hear me like hesitating, bro, it's because
And
there's like layers here, bro. Like let's.
right. Well, let me go again to this book, right? Because they
Mhm.
describe that. They explain that what we call Mami now, Mami Wata, was the original. And when the so-called Israelites came in, that they were patriarchally based. And one thing that they'd agreed on with Rome was like, we got to get rid of the goddess, we got to get rid of the mother. So they
Mhm.
replaced Mami Wata with Yahweh
Right,
in
right.
the end of the day. And so
Mhm.
it even makes sense that they might even see them as consorts
Mm,
early
mm,
on, right?
mm.
Because you still had a lot of people who were like, nah, what are you doing? We're not about to
Right,
give up this for what y'all are feeding us right now.
right.
And
So,
so what
so they
we
go,
mhm,
yeah. So they go. Well, they're married. How's that?
right there, man. Now they're
Yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah. And they go, oh, well, all right. We might swallow that a little bit. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah,
right, right.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. But what the book is explaining is that if the ancient text, like there's just books that we're just not gonna have access to right now. But like the Sibyllian prophecies and all that, that stuff's probably in the Vatican. Now that I think about it,
Yeah,
they burn stuff, but they keep things on deck because
yeah,
they got to study it and read about themselves.
yeah.
And quote so and so will die in the year such and
Right,
such.
right. Yeah.
They keep that for themselves.
This is another thing that I try to school brothers too. That often what they're feeding us is not what they believe. They're giving us that. Like we're not. By no means am I saying any of that is the whole system of it is a lie and it's
Mhm.
garbage. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that they formulate these systems to control us, and then they feed it to us, and
Right.
then we lap it up, we eat it up. But the fact is that they don't believe in that stuff.
Now they don't believe in that
No,
stuff.
because they got the books. They have they have Popovu. They have all
And
the books,
thank you.
bro.
And they know the story of how it was created. Like
Yeah. Mm,
One thing that really did it for me was, yeah, I think you said it last week, years ago, when I learned about Emperor Constantine, the Roman Emperor Constantine,
mm.
and how he's the one. Like, first off, he was over there slaughtering the people that were
Yeah.
called Christians. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He waged war on them. Then all of a sudden he's like, hold on,
Yeah.
we're gonna make Christianity the official Roman religion. But
Mhm,
what
mhm,
was done, the ecumenical councils and all that
mhm.
stuff to get to where we are.
Yeah.
The one I know
Yeah.
about specifically is the
Mhm.
Council of Nicaea. I was
Right.
chopping up with my brother, and he was explaining to me that there were a bunch more that I need to familiarize myself
Oh
with.
wow. Thank you for that, because I want to learn more, because I know of the Council of Nicaea. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. We know about
Mhm,
Nicaea, and we know they were
mhm.
like, okay, these books are canon, these books throw them out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Yeah.
in that council, there was the whole thing like, who is Jesus? What was Jesus? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
God and man? Was he born of an
Right.
actual woman? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Or
Right.
was he immaculately conceived inside his mother? Like, that was a debate.
Right.
They weren't they could have gone both ways.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
If you look at the Orthodox Church, they believe he was a man who became, more like a Buddha, became
Right. Right.
enlightened, if you want to call it that.
Right. 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 Right, right. I know, I know. And then the council, it was only made up of men. There was no women there.
Right,
Yeah, and there was none of color either. There was
right,
no one of color there. Which, if you know about history, Rome didn't have any problem with uh dark skin, emperors. That we already know. See, they try to hide that. It's another one. They hide it, but we unravel, our story, and we could see that. But once Constantine came along, he was like, "Nah, this is our thing right here. We going. This
right,
is us now. This is what we're doing. There's a new sheriff in town, and I saw God in the battlefield, the
right.
three swords, and I've even had Christians tell me like, "Oh, thank God for Constantine," because I'm like, "What? He was a straight murderer.
He's a savage to the end.
He didn't,
And
and
in
to the
true
end, he
Christian,
didn't stop after that. He kept. Go ahead,
yeah,
man.
and in true Christian form, on his deathbed, he said, I accept you, Lord. He said, I forgive me for my sins, because you know they were plenty. I did it for you, though. To a to his
To the
dying
last
day,
breath, huh?
last breath.
Oh, damn.
He said, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And then
Ah, yes.
but
Okay.
that
Let me.
go ahead, brother. I'm just
I wanted to speak again a little bit on Asherah, right?
yes.
She was the prominent mother goddess in ancient Canaanite and Israel, the so-called Israelite religions, considered a benevolent queen of heaven
Mm,
and mother of many gods, which really makes perfect sense, bro. Why? Because where do we come from, bro? you know, we
women.
come from women. We don't come from a man. Men have a part to play in it. Yes, we give our seed to fertilize the egg in the copulation of two, male and female, in order for to solidify and for a human to be born, but it's the woman that carries the baby to term and all that, bro. The bond is like,
Right.
yeah. So this makes perfect sense, man. But thank you for that, bro. This is something to be, looked into. And again, this show is not about telling people how it is, and that's the way. We're like, hey, go investigate some of these things yourself.
Right. That's the thing. Just make yourself knowledgeable. Like, and I'll keep saying it as long as we have this show. A big thing for me is coming out of kind of the faith based type of thing, and just dealing with science facts, spiritual technology like that. That's my thing right now.
Mhm.
I'm not dealing with belief systems. That's not working for me right now. I
Mhm.
can't just go with something just because someone tells me to believe it.
Mhm. We did that already. So
We did a
yeah,
lot of that.
yeah, For sure, for sure. And oftentimes when you start to speak on these things, people tend to start questioning, and then it shakes them to their core, like their belief, because
Right.
what is it that we really have in this life? It's just a belief. Like whether you believe or you don't believe, like that's a belief also.
Belief system, right?
Right, right. Because what is life in itself? Life is like, why am I here? Why am I conscious about these things? There is a God. There has to be. I'm not talking about because mom says so, or dad, or grandma, or grandpa. I'm not talking about
Right,
that because they're telling you that, and you just accept it as fact, right? You see, but when you start to look at it yourself and be like, hey, I have these deep questions, man. I'm contemplating some of these things.
right, right. That's what we should be doing. You
Yes.
know, like if so, imagine someone dropped in the woods. Let's say they can speak, they can read all that stuff, right? But they don't have a book.
Mm,
They don't have a book to guide them. What's that person going to become? And is that person condemned to hell because they don't accept what this book that they've never been exposed to has to tell them?
oh no, no, they're gonna burn in hell forever, bro.
Forever. Forever is a long time. Long time. I, the,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a true story.
Mm,
I used to go to Sunday school. My parents used to send us to Sunday school on
mm,
Sunday mornings, right? Me and
okay.
my sisters.
Mm,
And I remember, I think I must have been in fourth grade when I heard about Judgment Day. And
mm,
like, before that day, before that Sunday, I didn't know anything like that existed.
mm, mm,
We're gonna learn about Judgment Day. And when they told us about Judgment Day, and they basically, in my mind, the way they described it, God's gonna line everybody up on the throne and just start flicking, just plucking people into the fire to burn in eternity. I said, "Oh
right,
man, like
right, right,
there's
right.
no getting around it. Like you holding on. I just
Yeah,
picture you
no,
holding on
there's no, yeah, 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 yeah.
effortlessly, just
The all loving, all benevolent, all forgiving,
right.
all creator is, yeah, yeah. There's a great book that I took in called Conversations with God. Have you ever taken this book in?
No, I've heard of it though.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Is it Michael or Neil something or other? But in any case, um they call it auto writing, where people, you know, start to
Okay,
experience this thing, and then they just start writing, and as he was writing on the pen, he was like, hey, it's me, God. And he's answering on the pen, like, what are you talking about? You God? He's like, yeah, I'm God. I'm communicating with you. And he's like, well, if you God, well, and then he starts, conversating with him, like, hey, what
mm,
about this? And what about that? And it's a 3-volume book. It's rather long. You could get the audio book on YouTube for free, or you could hit me up and I'll send it to you. If you don't find it there or something like that, I have a folder with audiobooks I can share with you, with anyone who's interested. Just omzielhealing@gmail.com. It's free, of no cost. Okay,
that's right there.
that's what's up. It's a blessing. So he starts questioning some of those things, like, what about hell? Hey, we're going, we sin, we burn forever in eternal hell. And God's answer was like, now think about that. I create something beautiful. It's my creation, and there's all these different factors coming in. Do you think I'm gonna place them in a place like that forever? But as you keep reading the book, you're like, of course, God would say that. Like, yes, this makes more sense. This makes sense.
Right,
Like, yeah, he's not saying you're gonna, you're getting away scot free and all this type of other stuff. No, he's not saying that, but not that
right,
other stuff, like controlling and stuff like that.
right.
No,
And I'm glad you say that. And the reason of Neil Donald Walsh.
Neil Donald Walsh, that's his
Yeah.
name.
So
It's a good book. It's very good. Take it in.
thank you, brother. Thank you for
Mhm.
that. The reason I even brought that up, right? Because the whole idea of fear-based religion, fear, like we are in the United States right now. And the reason why we have allowed it to get to where it is right now,
mm,
I think most people can agree that something is effed up here.
mm,
Reason,
I raised my hand on that one. Go ahead.
the reason it's gotten to this place is because people are so afraid of the government.
Mm,
And this is like we've seen this happen because we were, I'll speak for myself. I'm born in the 80s and raised in the 90s. Okay.
mm,
The 80s made me, 90s raised me.
mm,
And my life, I come from a fearless era.
mm,
I come from a fearless era. I didn't know it until I moved into other eras,
mm,
but I very much was born and raised and grew in a fearless era where
mm,
people, where the government was still afraid of the people.
mm.
Now they're not afraid of the people. They're not afraid of y'all now.
No, no, they got it down to a science now.
They got it down now, right?
Mm.
Oh, they're watching. Oh, they're listening on the devices. Oh,
Yeah.
they're watching us through our TVs. Like, yes, they're watching
Mm,
us through our TVs. Yes, they're
mm,
listening through our devices. And what?
mhm, mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
what? So
yeah.
what? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if people get that way, imagine if people can get that way in 20 something years, let's say 25 years, people can be that afraid of the government.
Mm, mm,
Imagine now this
mm.
deity in the sky that could throw lightning up your backside and throw
Right.
you in hell for eternity. Like, what
Mm.
does that do to people, bro?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fear based. It's fear based. It is. It is. That's why when you start to question some of these things and how is it that you look at God and relate to God in your everyday, lots of things come up. It's easier just to go follow, what is said in the book, and especially if you have like a pastor or a rabbi or a monk or something like telling you. Oh, it's even easier. You just gotta go over there and just tell them, hey, this is what's going on, and confess, confess your, you know, and then
Right,
then they tell you, don't worry, you'll be good, my son, and just go home
right,
and do a couple of these prayers, and yeah, it's just wow.
right.
But there's a great other book that comes to my mind too, called The Miseducation of the Negro. You know
Oh,
this one?
yeah. I still haven't read it, but
Oh,
I'm
you
very
have to, bro. Oh my God. I think I have that. I might have that on audiobook too. I
mm,
gotta check. I gotta check. But yeah, this one is a powerhouse. It was written in the 1920s.
right.
And the things that this gentleman was saying, he was saying, listen, if the pastor comes to your neighborhood driving up in a Cadillac, he's not there to help you.
Mm, ooh, you
Hmm.
some something you said last week, and I didn't make the comment, bro. I went to school in Virginia at Hampton University, and
Mm.
every year they have what is it? The pastors. It's something the pastors game. I called it the players ball.
Right,
I
right. Yeah,
called it
it's
the
the
players.
players' ball. That's what it
All the
is.
players
The big ball is
game
it.
from far and wide. Yo, when I tell you they are pulling up in Benzes,
Oh,
Beamers,
crazy, bro.
Cadillacs,
Just
uh,
crazy.
Jaguars,
Just
like of
yeah,
the baddest cars, the
yeah,
biggest rims. They're
yeah,
coming out in their zoot suits. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
They look
yeah. It's crazy.
bro,
It's
hair
crazy.
slicked back, some of them perms. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
my wife had the opportunity to go to Italy. She went to the Vatican,
Mhm.
and she said that there's this one statue, just one of them that she saw, that was like a gold, solid gold, like statue of gold,
Pure
angel,
gold.
and she said it was so beautiful, right? It was so gorgeous and all that, but with the contradiction there, you see, who you trying to help? Like we're not saying cut up the gold and hand it out like for a free handout, but with
Um,
all
I
those resources,
I am.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
exact. I said melt that mud
I
down.
know, I know. It's crazy because in Europe and these other places that they became so rich, right? And plenty of resources. Why? Because they got it from Africa and the Caribbeans, bro. That's where the gold came from, bro.
Old pirates, yes, they robbed I.
Yeah,
It's just
Yeah.
raped and pillaged.
Right. So I'm saying, with that gold and all these resources you have, help to create a system. They're smart, very smart. They could create a system that people can be self-sustaining, and that they could, farm the land and help themselves. But before I forget, there was something you said earlier about the fear base,
Yes.
right? And then how some different times people are not afraid, and even still too. And you can see how they do some people, but some people seem to last, and then some they cut them short because they're not afraid to speak up and do whatever. So
Right.
when we opened the show, I said that I had a little story for you that I was going to hold for you, and
Yes.
here it is.
Yes.
So this story goes back from the ages. I can't remember the gentleman's name and all that, but he was up preaching to the people and telling on, the governments and the other religious leaders and all of that. And he was giving the fire and telling them, man, these hypocrites and da 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 and everything. Da, da, da. They showed up one day and they carted him away, and he was gone, bro. They took him to the tower. You know where I'm talking about. Stretched him out, whipped him up, tortured him, bro. He was there for like months and everything, bro. They finally let him go. They went, okay, we're done with you. Go ahead, get out of here. He went back to where he was preaching. The people were like, oh, here he is. And he got up on the pulpit again. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, like I was saying.
There you go. There
I
you
said,
go.
man, that's a great story, bro. That's how
Hmm.
we supposed to be, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Just
And
like
then it makes me think of Martin Luther. Now I know he's not without any controversy because he was anti-Semite. I don't know. There's some proof, that. But the fact that he was just telling on them, like, he was giving, right. He put the letters that were nailed onto the
right.
door of
Right.
the, and they got him hot there, and he was on the run for a while there too.
He was on the run.
He was on the run because he was nailing. I can't remember the name of it. Um, but he was listing all the things that the church were doing, like Rome was like just having these huge parties, bro. They were draining the coffers. And that was the time when the people from Rome were going around to the small villages, and then they started saying, your loved one that passed, they're in purgatory, but if
Oh
you give
yes.
a little bit of monies, we're gonna pray for them, and they're gonna get out of that torturing and all like that.
They call them. Did they call them indulgences?
Yeah, I can't remember the name. Yeah, either. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah. You got to
or
look that up. Yeah, yeah. But they were straight gangsters. They're still gangsters, but they were straight gangsters, bro. The Medici family and all that. Once they got one of their guys inside,
oh yeah,
oh man, it was a good time, bro. That
gangster
was like, yo,
business.
got one of our own. There was, yeah, they were just straight gangsters. All
Yeah.
that Renaissance, all those riches and all that creation, all that. Yeah, we
Yep.
know where they got it from. Yeah, that's where
Right.
the Renaissance came from. Yeah, it was all they were able to do that, or that architect, or the marble cutting, or the yeah. What do you think? They got it for free? They just gave it to them?
Right. And remember, these are people that came out of the dark ages that didn't even take baths, and now they're building these grand structures and gold plated and laced and
Supposedly.
jewel laced. Right. Get
Hmm.
out.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
know. I know. I know.
Plenary indulgences. I think that's the plenary indulgences. Those are what you're talking
Mm,
about, where they
right.
give a little money and you're good. I got you. I'm gonna talk to St. Peter for you. I got you.
Right. I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. Yeah. Look, I like to say this, Cam, that everybody's belief system is their own, right? So here's a little story for you. I was on a men's retreat one time, and these conversations come up about, belief systems and all of that. And, hey, I'm with plenty of stuff, I have my own things, right? And but what I want to tell you is that, these two brothers, they almost like cornered me, bro. I felt really uncomfortable. They got me like, and here I'm the one leading the men's retreat, bro. But they were they
Mhm,
almost like cornered me in so many words. It was like, okay, come on, let's hear it now. Let's hear your take on the Jesus thing. Let's see. Wow, we got to
mhm.
hear you now. And like I started getting that feeling like, this is how it must have felt.
Mm.
This is how it must have felt. This is how it must have felt. Yep. This is how it must have felt just before they dragged somebody out, tarred him up, feathered him, roped him up, you
Right,
know, and God knows what else.
right.
Women, they was dunking them in the lakes, and
It
and
was
yeah, see if she
right,
drowned. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like right, lighting them up and on stakes, burning
Learn
stakes.
'em in the middle of the village, not behind, like hiding. No, no, no. So everybody could see, like, guillotines and all that, So I said, look, yeah, I believe Jesus. They was like, all right, yeah, I kid you not. They were like, all right, and I was like, yeah, I believe in Jesus, Joshua. Yeah, he's the savior. But yeah, they were like, oh, but is he the savior? Yeah, I believe he is the savior. Yeah, I
Mm,
do. But I also think that so's Muhammad and so's Buddha and so's Krishna.
mm, mm,
Yeah, they're the only way. Yeah, they're all the only way.
mm,
It's the way right there. And
mm.
then and then I also made a point, which I also tell other people too, is that for me, Cam, it doesn't matter about the virgin birth to me. It don't matter. or
Right,
or the resurrection don't matter to me, bro.
right.
No, what matters to me more mainly is the middle part.
Mm,
What did the man say? What did he do? How did he treat people? You see,
right,
when people get a little bit confused about some of these things, I tell them, look, man, just do what Jesus would do.
right.
That's it.
Because and you know what, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna read specifically his words because I don't want to.
Go ahead. I
I don't
know.
want to.
We're in it now. We're in it.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Go
hear
ahead.
any other part of it. I'm gonna go back like for myself and read the words and see what he talked about. Because I don't know if he was talking about worship me and all that stuff. I feel like he was talking about like you said, do right by people.
Hmm, hmm.
I know he did say something about the kingdom of God is within. Like what was he talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go out and preach the kingdom of God. If the kingdom of God is within, then what like
Yeah.
what philosophy were
Right.
they going by? What were they interacting with and telling people and teaching folks?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and he was a rabbi. Have you? This is going a little left, but have you ever heard what? I guess it's in the Talmud the way they talk about him. Because one thing, he was a rabbi allegedly, right?
Mhm.
And if you're a rabbi, then you have to have a wife. There aren't wifeless
Mhm.
rabbis unless they're widowers.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he was a rabbi, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I mean, in the Talmud, they saying that he's boiling in piss and semen and all this stuff. Yeah, it's horrible
Mm.
what they say about him. Yes, but they do believe in him. They do believe that someone they say this rabbi Yeshua was talking all this stuff. He was beating our people in the what do you call it in the temple that were
Mhm.
changing
Mhm.
money. You know,
Right. Right. Yeah.
so it's like who was he as a man? It's kind of like like who was he as a man, as a physical
Right.
being, if this person
Exactly.
existed? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
He,
Exactly.
he didn't want
Exactly.
money changing in his father's house.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 He came to, save people from their sins and all that. I mean, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. But there's so much there in between. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Like that, that's a
Right.
big one for me, bro. Like,
That's a huge one. Like, imagine
and
the world just went off of that creed right there. Everybody
yeah,
in the world, love your neighbor
yeah.
as yourself.
But when they asked them, they said, "Okay, what's your commandments? How should we do? What is your?" And that was the first thing within the book that he said right there. The
Mm,
first thing that he said that what people should do. He was giving them a direct thing to do, and there
right.
it was: love thy neighbor as thyself. That's deep. That's deep.
Right.
So here in the Omziel Healing Sanctuary, we help people on deep levels, bro. I mean, people come with all kinds of issues here, bro. You already know. I mean, it's deep work, bro. Sometimes it's so deep that after some sessions, man, I need a cleansing myself. Like I go to my wife and like I'm like, honey, just do some energy work on me or something. Like it's heavy, just what the brother let out, what the sister let out, and all that, and
Mhm.
um, I remember this one sister. I'm not gonna say no names, of course not, but um, my wife was working with her, and she had told her, what's your relationship with God?
Mm.
And she said that moved her so deeply, just that question right there. It just moved her deeply, bro. Like she really deeply contemplated. It shifted her, bro.
Mm.
Just that in the setting, of course, because you could say the same thing like that in the bar up the
Right.
block. It's not gonna have the same impact, But
Right.
in this setting of healing, bro,
Mm.
and before you know it, the girl, man, she went full blown Jesus on us, bro. Like I mean, she went all, yup, heels up and everything. She even brought over this beautiful crystal, like, which I'm sure she paid a few $100s for this beautiful, gorgeous crystal of a rock, bro. And she gave us some other things, and she was like, "Yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm a Jesus." And I was like, "That's beautiful, sister.
Oh
Right
wow.
on." I was like,
Just
"Look,
off of
we
that.
just off of that, we was happy for her, bro. So happy." Would you believe she cut us off, bro?
Oh
And
man.
this is the thing, and I'm telling you that we've seen this more than once, bro. This is crazy,
Really?
bro. I'm like, we're the ones who helped you. And they were like, "Mm-mm, no, no, because what you're doing, that's I know what they want to say. I know what they want to say. I know what
Witch-
they want to say.
Witchcraft and sorcery and all that.
Voodoo,
Voodoo, right? And even that word has been so bastardized as if
right?
it's a negative thing. Like
Hmm.
the real voodoo, like I shouldn't say the real voodoo because let me not bastardize that word more. The real sorcery
Hmm.
is, I mean, for what's the word? What's the Greek word? Pharmacopoeia,
Pharmacopoeia, yeah.
right? Exactly. Pharmacy work. That that's
Mm,
sorcery. That's if you go to the Greek
mm,
translation, right? Stuff that you get
mm,
out of the, the pharmacies. That's what it is. When
mm.
you're using poisons to heal the body, that's what it is. That's what they're calling sorcery. That's what was the traditional definition of sorcery. Okay,
Right.
it's nothing that what people think it is. It's not what people think it is. That's been put on it later in time. That's been put on it to bastardize these healing traditions and these intuitive traditions that go back way longer than those religions ever
Mm,
existed.
way older. Right.
These are sciences. These are ancient scientists.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For
You
sure.
know what's sorcery to me is how do I say this without getting kicked off? Sorcery to me, if you go look in some of the labs of the projects that they're doing right now, combining plant and animal and insect and virus DNA together to create a being. That's the stuff you got to watch out for.
Yep.
That's like there's
Mhm.
I you know I know we're not perfect as human beings, and that's arguable too. Because I think we
Yeah,
were made in
we're perfect.
perfection.
We're
You
perfect.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I think we were
yeah.
made in perfection.
God, yeah, yeah. God don't make imperfect things. But go
Right.
ahead.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what I
I
mean?
know what you mean.
You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Like we have our faults.
Right.
We are
Fallible.
human. We are fallible as human beings, right? That's cool. But there's people who are really wicked and doing wicked things, you know what I mean? And using resources for wicked activities. And it's like, I don't, my opinion, I don't think the average person should share my opinion. I don't think they should share the same fate as those people.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I've thought about this too, right? Like, I had learned that some people believe, and they really believe strongly, that, for instance, Hitler, what kind of suffering and hell does a person like that experience? Should it be the same as somebody who just didn't believe the way they were supposed to believe? You know, do they get the same type of thing? But some say, oh well, Hitler is on another planet,
Mm,
by himself, and that's his punishment. You see, but in my mind, I'm like, this just sounds like you're making stuff up now. Like,
bro, Hitler was a Christian. What? What?
yeah,
He was
yeah,
Christian.
yeah. That's why they loved him and respected him. That's why he didn't burn in their fire. You
Bro.
already know. Nah,
He did the Constantine.
yeah, yeah, yep.
I'm not just saying this to be funny. Like,
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. I know he was up in Argentine with the other ones, other than on a
right,
beach,
right,
and passed on but with old age, because they loved him and they
on
respected him in this
on,
country, bro.
on a deathbed, most likely,
Yeah, it's
where
crazy.
he could have just sat there with his cross on his chest and said the same
But
thing. Whatever
by the way,
Constantine.
by the way,
By the way,
by the way, I'm about to see you. Yeah,
right,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm good. We're good.
we good.
Okay, we're good.
See, when you fast forward it to the future to bring it, you know what I'm saying, to make it more visceral. Cause Constantine, people could be like, oh well, that was back then. Like this dude was
Yeah,
just a few years ago. You know what I mean?
right,
This guy Hitler was just a few years ago. But
right.
according to that doctrine, if he takes those steps, yeah,
Yeah,
he's up there with
yeah,
Saint
it's
Peter and
good.
all of them.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw this one Instagram post that this brother put up. It was so good. I loved it. And it was a picture of Jesus, or depiction of Jesus, talking to some people. And it said something like, you're sitting at tables that you were supposed to flip over.
Oof,
Yeah, I
oof.
know. It hit me like that too. I was like, wow. I hit him up. I was like, yo, that's good. That's good.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
beautiful, bro.
Yep.
That's
That's
beautiful.
how we should be, man. We should be turning over tables. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
you
like the
know,
whole
and
thing of these churches, and he spoke against all that. That was his thing. Like, he was just like,
there's a video I saw years ago. It really blew my mind. It's not an old video. Sorry, I know I'm making a little noise. It's of Creflo Dollar,
mm, mm, mm.
Creflo Dollar, and this other preacher. If I
Oh,
can find it, I'll bring it up for you.
okay, okay.
But it was so wild. It was, to me, it was like some, I don't really believe in end times type stuff, but if there was some end time stuff, this would be it right here. You see these guys, they're up
Right.
at the front of the church, big mega church, and there's just all this money on the floor. They need that money, need that money. And they're just going around, woo, woo, and they're
Yeah.
shuffling their feet through
Yeah.
ankle deep pile of money on the floor.
Yeah.
And this is one Sunday coming from the
Mhm,
parishioners,
mhm,
and to
yeah.
me that really tripped me out. That
Mm,
how is
mhm,
that a thing, and how are we
mhm.
okay with that?
Yep.
Like, how
Yep.
is that okay?
Yeah, well, in this country, you already know they're protected like that. Religions, me and you could make the religion of the pencil, and the God is the one that, and people would just give us money. We would be tax free and all of that. But this
Cref-
Keflo dollar,
Creflo Dollar.
yeah, Creflo dollar, yeah, I've seen him before. I'm looking him up now, and there was another guy too. He was part of a R&B group back in the 70s, but he turned preacher, and he was living large, bro, lovely. And I saw this one interview on TV, and it was like, how could you be living like that? You look at, you got alligator shoes on and all that, like you're a man of
Right,
God and everything, you're a
right.
preacher and all that. And he was like, oh, listen, when you see Jesus, how he was dressed, oh no, those were fine linens he was wearing. Those were top of the line leather sandals he had on. I was like, man, this guy, he believes his own.
Jesus said, one cloak. He didn't say have a wardrobe. He said one cloak.
Yeah.
He said, you don't even have a home. You what you need a home for? You go
Yeah.
from town to town. If they
Right.
reject you in this town, go on to the next town. Don't even
Right.
sleep there. Don't
Right.
even sleep
Don't
in the
even sleep
parking
there.
lot behind the Denny's.
Right.
Leave that town. You
Right.
get your food from the people who you're
Mm,
preaching to.
yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems, it's one of those things, like I had told you, that always fascinates me about belief systems, how people believe these things and they do crazy stuff, like they'll go and they'll kill their own brother and another human just in the name of God. Like, you're not even sure. Okay, yeah, because it says it, but you're not really sure. But then there's the thing with the money too, and this has happened all around the world. Gurus rise up. I mean, what's this other guy's name? Osho. You remember Osho?
Which one is that?
Oh, you don't know Osho? Oh, listen, look up Osho. So Osho, go ahead. I'll keep going.
Mhm.
Osho was a guru from India, and he was doing quite well in India. He was doing quite well that the government was like, listen, you've got to get out of here. We can't have you no more.
Right, this guy
So he
talk
got his
about
stuff and he
yeah.
came over here with all the followers. They came here. But this guy had so much money that he was doing so well, bro. He was buying Rolex. He had one for every day of the week. He had Rolls Royces. He's like a fleet of cars. But people, even to this day, they really dig this guy. They really are his writings, because he wrote a lot.
Was he the Kundalini guy?
No, I don't. He may have been, but not the yoga guy.
Okay.
No, because that guy, he was a recent guy, that yoga guy, that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had a lot of followers. He was making buku money too,
Right. And
and then he was getting all the women. Yeah, he was
right.
getting all the women. Yeah, no,
Okay,
not
that's
not that
different guy.
dirty rat.
Not
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
dirty rat, different
yeah,
dirty
yeah,
rat.
yeah. Another different dirty rat. But this guy Osho,
Uh, yeah.
Osho,
Uh,
and I remember years ago I was in a drama group, because I had always like been in these drama groups that we traveled and stuff like that. We did like these improvisational theater stuff, and
okay.
I guess that's where I learned to, like, be boisterous and project my voice and speak up, right? Because I was trained that way. And one of the directors in one of the groups I was in, he had this necklace with these beads, and at the end of it he had like a plexiglass round, and in the inside was a picture of this guy with a long beard. I didn't know who it was at the time. It was Osho. And 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 the brother, he dressed in all one color, like a burgundy color. All his clothes every day, he had different clothes, but they were all of the same color. And he explained to me and the other young ones too that were there, saying that this is my guru, you know, and yeah, and I listened to, this is my guru, and he said, when you get older, maybe you'll learn about it and stuff like that. And sure enough, as I got older, I started to learn about Osho, and some of his writings were quite
Mm,
profound.
mm.
And then I saw this documentary on Netflix some years ago. It's called Wild Country. You probably didn't
I
see it.
heard of it. I heard of it.
Yeah, bro, it is wild, bro. It's wild. It talks about his life and the people that he had around him and all this money that was coming in, bro. They came to the United States. They bought swaths of land, somewhere in America, in these small towns that there was nothing going on. He came in with all the money, got all the constructions done, stripping the earth, building all these houses, and people were living in communes. And there was all of these talks about them having sex, and then there was talks of drugs, and it's a 5-part thing on Netflix. It's called Wild Country. It's very good. But I got to see who the guy was. Really. I mean, he was hooked on drugs. He was getting high.
Mhm.
But when he had some clarity, he was writing down these quite profound things, that
Mm.
people still read. And,
Wow.
this is what I tell people, if you like the message, take the message, but not the messenger.
Right.
Huh? You like that priest, you like that rabbi, you like that monk, or you like that whatever, bro. Like,
Mhm.
don't take the message.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, man, because it's so easy to get caught up in the messenger, and then the message that's being delivered by that messenger. Is it tainted because of who that messenger is?
Right. My
That's
goodness.
a question. Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if this was gonna get us thrown off, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Right.
right?
Right.
Much respect, and I love it. Great things, bro. I still listen to the man, man, on
Right.
point, everything. But Malcolm X said he was something different.
Right. He
He
was
was
right.
not living like
Right.
this.
Or what about Malachi Z. York?
Mm,
About
tell
Dr.
me,
York?
tell me about him.
Oh man, the Nuwabians. Um,
Mm,
I'll say this: the people that have come through the Nuwabian camp, they're a lot of scholars. It's debatable some of the history that they talk about, but then Dr. York was talking that Zachariah Sitchin stuff before Zachariah Sitchin was talking it.
mm.
So he was coming from a knowledge base. But
Oh.
then
Mhm.
he got caught up. He's still alive, but he's
Mm, mm.
when they say under the jail, he's really under the jail. They got him like 12 stories down, Supermax.
What?
Yeah, they got him under the jail in Colorado, I believe. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Black National Movement founded by Dwight York.
yeah.
Yeah, misunderstanding of neo paganism.
Something like that.
They're saying he had the misunderstanding of neo paganism.
Like,
Includes a diverse range. That's why on the internet, yeah, I don't, yeah,
right, especially now that they got the AI giving you summaries, like,
yeah, summaries. Yeah, come on, you
but
can't.
in real life, it might be a misunderstanding of neo paganism. It really,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Listen, let's get it clear that way, because this is all going down and recorded. That
right,
we're not here saying any of those other things were not the way, or all these other things is the way. We're not saying none of that. We're just trying to get clear
right,
on some of these things. I
right,
respect all, bro. That's one thing. I respect all. I respect all.
right,
I've been into the mosque. I've been into all types of churches, temples of all sorts, the Buddhism, and whatever, all of them, and I acknowledge God. God is, it's a places of reverence. They're sacred places and
right,
all of that, bro. And they all can't be wrong, and they all can't. Their whole story is not all a lie. No, I don't believe that.
right,
No, I don't believe that. No, no. There might be some things that you would think like, nah. Come on, nah. I don't think it's good for you to be with 12-year-old girls. No, that I'm
right.
not buying that part. You know,
Like,
what I'm
leave
saying no.
that part alone.
I'm
That's
not.
you got to
I'm not
write that
buying
in
that
your
part.
book. That's got to be in the book.
You know what I'm saying,
Right,
right? Yeah.
right,
But I respect all. You respect me, I respect you.
right. And that
You.
goes to do what is it? At, treat your neighbor as yourself. What is it?
Yeah, yeah. Love thy neighbor as
Like
thyself.
the neighbor as thyself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. Of
Right.
course.
Um. And what if someone's a masochist though? So what
Well,
if there's someone that likes to get beaten? You know what I
right, right,
mean?
right.
No, don't treat
There's
me like
levels. Yeah, yeah. There's levels to the game. There's levels to it. But
right.
I'm glad that we're getting clear on some of these things, right? So, you always talk about the mystical and the spiritual,
Right,
right? And bringing the science back and all of that, man.
right.
Well, maybe you could tell me, what are some of the things that you learned, some of the misconceptions that people would have about mysticism and spiritualism and science
The big one for me is that everybody was going off of belief systems, that what's being categorized as religions, especially ancient religions, were belief systems where they weren't always belief systems, and this
Mm,
goes into the entheogenic practices where people were interacting with intelligences, and they were having collective experiences that they could say, like, no, this is real. It was, oh, I believe in this thing in the sky. It's like, now we all interacted with this being or this set of beings or this set of intelligences. Because that's the thing. When you're in those entheogenic realms, you're depending on what level of substance is in your body or what level of medicine is in the body,
mm,
you're going to interact with intelligences, not just one intelligence, several intelligences.
mhm, mhm,
And so I can only imagine that this was a huge part of what people were experiencing back then, and then
mm,
coming back to tell about it.
mhm, mhm. For sure, for sure. I've had some experiences myself. I have to say, and they were helpful. But what the hell was that? Like, there's a lot of it that I'm like, if I said it, first of all, it would be really a super watered down interpretation of what
Right,
is it that I experienced.
right,
I could make it beautiful. I could put it like,
right.
super like a whole movie of the week, action packed. But
Right.
it still would be a watered down version of what is it that I really experienced, what I felt, what I saw. I saw it, and people often come back from those places with this common um, idea that what they experienced was more real than here.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that because that is so accurate. And oh man, bro, right? Because you're there and you realize how interconnected that realm is with whatever we call reality. So you're like, hold on, how is it that I can see the pattern? You can see the
Mhm,
pattern, you can see the webs, the
mhm,
interconnection to this realm. And then once it leaves the system, it's like, oh, okay, I'm back in this. Like I talk about it in terms of technology now.
mhm,
Honestly, since my last venture, my last journey, I it everything, like, this realm is technology. It's a certain technology.
mhm,
And when you're over there, you're interacting with a different set of technologies.
mhm,
And it was, for me, it was so apparent because I think I told you, I came back. I actually made some recordings, right?
mhm,
Made a recording that turned into a long recording. But I was in that space where I was only interacting with my recording device because
mhm,
I felt that I needed to document what I was experiencing in that moment. But I didn't
mhm,
want to. I was like, F this. I'm going into my meditation. And they were like, nah, like,
mhm,
do the
mhm,
recording. So now I got to figure out how to, what's this button mean? Oh, that, okay. How do I, okay, I gotta
mhm.
unlock this thing. Okay, this
Been
is a
there.
device. This is a device in this realm. Okay, let me unlock this device in this realm. Okay, these are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
These
yeah. I
are
know what you're saying.
numbers, right? Okay, these are numbers. Let me
Yeah,
do
yeah.
my thing,
Mm, mm,
right? What's this button do? Okay, this
yeah.
is the record.
Right. Okay. And you got it together. You got
Yes,
it.
and it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
and it's
Because
not
yeah,
like
yeah, you have to come back down. You have to be dumbed down in order to work this thing in this realm, I
Right, and
guess.
it's not like being drunk, like, "Oh, I'm drunk and I can't get my phone
Right.
open." It's like you're
Mm,
interacting with a different set of technologies,
mm, mm.
and you gotta remember how to use the technology of this realm, and everything in this realm is technology. The shirt is technology, this
Mhm.
everything we interact with is technology, and you're dealing with a whole other set there,
Mm, mm, mm.
and that's a watered down version of, like you said, that's a watered down version.
Right.
Well, I
Right.
can't even.
Right. 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 It's incredible how ancient people got to learn about a lot of these things, and how we spoke about that on the previous show about the connection between the ancients, experiencing entheogens, and then how these religions they pop up and they just start believing things. um,
Right.
I had one brother saying, he said, the more that I get deeper into this religion, and I don't want to say the name, but he said, the more I get deep into the religion, I could see that this is it. This is the one, because, all those other things, those esoteric things I was learning, it's in this one right here.
Mm.
And I'm saying in my head, yeah, I know, because they got it from over there, bro.
Right. People don't understand that. And it,
Just do the math, do the dates. The dates will tell you this was written first, then this came, and
they got
go
a
ahead.
whole psyop for that
I'm,
because
so- I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
no, no, you didn't cut me off. We
Okay,
talking.
okay, okay.
You didn't cut
Yeah,
me off,
yeah.
bro. Because there is, I heard this, I hear this argument when it comes to, again, I'm not trying to beat up on Christians. I, like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
I
right.
respect all.
We're not doing that. That's not what this is.
Right, that's not what this is about. That it's
Mm.
just an easy subject because that's what we grew up under. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's easy.
and
It's
plus, we live in a Christian country. You know that, right?
right,
Yeah,
right,
you could practice whatever religion you want to, and they say, yeah, you could do whatever you could do, but
right,
this is a Christian country, bro.
right.
But go
So
ahead. You were saying?
right, so the low hanging fruit. So
Hmm.
so there was, like 16 different messiahs throughout history, at least 16 that were born of a
Mm.
virgin, that were crucified, that rose, and all that other stuff.
Mm.
And so it's like, how do you rectify that? It's like, let's not act like they didn't exist. Like, what's the answer for that? And they say, oh, well, those were all the devil, and the real one came 2,000 years ago because they came to deceive people. And it's like, okay, if you wanted to, I know that's not in your book. I know they didn't say that in the
What
book.
chapter is that?
Right. That's a great interpretation to,
Yeah, this is
what I'm
not
saying?
in. Yeah, yeah,
But it's like, but this is a real thing.
yeah.
So
I didn't know there was that many, but I am aware that right before Yahshua, supposedly that he was here and all of that, right before him there was another guy, and they swore that was the one. The one they were waiting for.
yes,
They swore that was him. They swore that
yes.
was him, but the Romans, they cornered him and then burned him up in the cave, and got him. And
So did you put me on to my man who's talking about this? He's a I I can't remember his name off top right now, but he's I guess you say he's a spiritual, like he he teaches kind of the science and spiritual science of Christianity.
no, I didn't put you on to that.
And he talks about, like, this guy. I'll look up his name. I'll see if I can find his name. He's on YouTube, but he's from
Mhm.
like the 90s, maybe early 2000s, maybe 80s, like
Okay, okay,
old grainy video.
okay.
And he talks about that. And he says that there was it him? I think it was him. He was saying that there was a guy, just like you said,
Mhm,
who had the name Yeshua, and
mhm,
they
mhm.
thought he was the one.
Yeah,
Romans did away with him,
that's right.
but then he was a hero. And so you had a lot of people named Yeshua after. Oh, it was someone else was talking about it. But you had a lot of Yeshuas that came after him
Mm.
because the children, that was like, be like children naming their child Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna name you Malcolm.
Right, 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 right. You see, and then another thing that I had learned about that too was that, first of all, the virgin birth, that's not that. that's an old story.
Right.
That's a very old story. Like,
Old.
let's not make believe like that was the first and the only and the last virgin birth, because that's not the case.
Right.
That had happened already, including the resurrection too. So
Right.
they're coming from Kemet, as far as I had learned, right?
Yes. Asar,
Being
Aset.
crucified and all that, right? On the wooden cross and all that. Same thing, same story, bro. The
So
Trinity, the
so the story in Kemet was Asar. He was tricked by his brother Set, and he was cut up
mm,
into 13 or 14 pieces and
mm,
scattered about. And
right.
then his wife
Is
Aset
what, right?
gathered the pieces back, couldn't find his phallus,
Right.
created one out of gold,
Mhm.
somehow used her mystical powers to become
To
immaculately conceived.
right, right, right.
And this is
That's
and
a nice way of putting it.
right. And then again, Heru, who they call Horus, was born,
Mhm.
and he's the one that sat on the throne, which
Right,
is the throne is Aset.
right, right, right. So yes, it's an old story that they putting into that. And then I had learned that the reason why they had put the virgin birth there was because it helped to confirm the Old Testament prophets about the one that was coming.
Mm,
You see, so they went, well, if he's the one that was then we gonna have to say that it was from a virgin birth like that too.
right. And I told you I got to find out which books it was. It
Mhm.
was saying that his mother came from a virgin birth as well.
Right, you were sharing that with me, which was
Right.
quite incredible,
Right.
also. But yeah, we don't really know. We don't. I'm not saying that it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that. We're not saying none of that. We're not saying
Right.
that because I wasn't there. I don't know. None of us were there, by the way.
None of us
So,
were there.
so really to swear up and down that it was like that,
Right.
it wouldn't be the first recorded history of that. But I did want to, if you don't mind, I wanted to bring up, about whoever made us,
Mm,
right? Whoever created man, because we spoke about that last time, that chances are we were genetically modified and stuff like
mm.
that,
Oh,
and
right.
and and they added, the blood, their blood, the royal blood,
Mm-hmm.
the God, blood to
Right.
us, and that's, but whoever made us, we had to look like them, right?
Right.
Had to look like them with the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the hair. We had to look like them in some way because they said, "Yeah, let's make him in our image."
Mm-hmm.
Right? That
Right.
means it's going to look just like us. So as I started to get into a bit of the studies concerning that, I did make some notes, and the doggone people,
Mm.
right? They speak about the Nomo, right? And they said
Right.
that the Nomo that came from Sirius B, the Sirius B planet,
Right.
right? Now Sirius B, it's strange how they name the wireless audible internet device Sirius, right? The
Right.
one in your house, right?
Right.
You see?
I
You
remember that.
see?
Yeah.
Right? That's why they don't do nothing. They're just throwing names up there like that. Now they ain't just throwing it. Oh yeah, name it Apollo just because it sounds nice. No, it's
Oh,
because they believe in that for real, and that's why they put the Apollo mission and all that, bro.
right.
So,
Right.
but the Sirius came from Sirius B, right? And the Dogon, they knew the orbital pattern of the star system, the distance to the star system to Earth. They named they knew the names, the shapes, and the name of the shapes of the planet in our solar system,
Mm.
right? And they
Right.
said that the Nomo taught them.
Right. Right.
Now
And
you tell me, what's that about?
the Nomo,
Mhm.
we I think we're under the conception that they just came from space, and it's like they didn't just come from space.
Mm,
To me, the way I'm interpreting it, it is they traveled through more like they traveled through space time and became solid in this realm. Like
mm,
they created. It's almost as it's as if you were gonna uh create a 3D, not a hologram, like create a simulation, right? But then in order for the simulation to work, you have to go into the simulation and
mm.
become an aspect of the simulation. You were going to create a, imagine you were going to create a
So,
simulation. You and seven of your homeboys, no, excuse me. You, three of your homeboys and three of your homegirls, 4 and 4,
mm,
gonna go and create a simulation. But in order for the simulation to work, your 8 minds have to be a part of the simulation in order for it to work.
mhm,
That's what the Nomo are.
mm,
They are part of the fabric of my understanding is part of the fabric of what we understand as reality.
mm,
I'm
mm.
getting this again from this is Conversations with Ogo Tameli.
Right. I had learned a few things like that too. Something they were like beings of light or some descriptions. I've heard different descriptions like that. You
Yeah.
know.
They are water.
They're water.
They are water.
Okay. 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 You see, yeah. And then when they approached the doggone that they was talking about these things, they were like, wow, that sounds nice. And then like years later, scientists had found the planet,
Yep,
Sirius B, something like when they had spoken to them like 50 years later or something, or scientists had said, hey, look, it really is there.
yep,
In the Dogon, if you see some of their one of their structures, it shows you it the thing. It's because they go, oh, that's a nice design. No, that's actually the planet. They're showing you right there, Sirius B, that you cannot see it with the naked eye. That's why scientists found it because
bro.
you can't. Me and you, we cannot see it. No way. No way.
Right,
No.
right. They show you the orbits of the planets compared to the stars. They show you about the different planets around the stars.
Mm,
They say so our sun, according to them, is a companion star to the star of Sirius.
mm,
Every star is supposed to be born with a twin,
I see.
and the twin of our sun is the Sirius star.
Mm,
And I'm pretty sure scientists now understand that that relationship is real.
right. Right. Oh, for sure. They've been nowhere too, by the way.
Yeah.
They
And,
they
and
you know,
yeah, and
the real,
and
no.
mhm. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the real ones no.
Yeah, of
Mhm.
course they know. And I think our star and the Sirius star were birthed from, oh man, is it Andromeda? Don't quote me. No, 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 not Andromeda. What's that? Pleiades.
Oh, the Palladians. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think our stars might have
Mm.
been birthed out of that star system. Don't quote me on that part.
Okay, okay.
Don't quote me on that part. But it's one of these common star systems that we know about. According
Mm,
to the Dogon, our star and the Sirius, one of the Sirius stars, were birthed out of there.
mm, mm, mm.
Right.
Quite remarkable how they would come up with these things with scientific proof. I mean, what else? What else would people want? What else?
Right.
But with that canceled out some of the religions now, like some people say, hey, look, why don't you just come out and tell us the truth, because we are already figuring out a lot of these things. Just tell us, right? And then some people say, oh no, but that would break some of the structure, right? Which in my opinion it would. But there are some reports where people would say, you know what? I would still believe in Jesus. Even if you
Right.
told me all these other, I would still believe. I
Right.
would, they would make some sort of adjustment and stuff like that.
So you know, the clip that you posted from our conversation the other day was dope. I love the way that you did that.
Thank you. I dropped two of them. I dropped another one today too. You didn't see it?
I didn't see the one today.
Oh, it's you, bro. You got that thing, bro. You got that
Okay,
thing.
thank you,
Okay,
brother.
okay.
Thank you,
Of
brother.
course, brother.
But the thing that so what I was talking
Mm,
about in the clip was that we
mm,
don't live in a world like most humans don't agree upon the reality that we live in on so many different levels, right?
mm, mm,
But I wonder if part of there's a feeling like there's a culmination. We're coming to a head. Something's coming to a head. Like we're coming to some
mhm,
climax, right? Human
mm,
civilization. I wonder
mm,
if that climax is an agreed upon reality.
mm.
Because there's a thing, and I'll see if I can pull it up real quick. Basically called quantum coherence.
Mm,
Let me see if I can find a good definition for quantum coherence.
mm. It's possible. I mean, in the past, they've agreed on something should go down, and then it goes down like that. Whether it's like pulling the band-aid off fast or slow.
Right,
But they want to do the pulling of the band-aid and all these type of things.
right,
People go for this because listen, no belief and no religion has lasted since the beginning of recorded human history to now. None.
mm,
Not I've told people that too. I'll be like, look, this is what we believe in now, bro. We don't know hundreds of years from now. And they were like, no, no, I think that will be able to, like, bro, you're not seeing the history already of humans.
right,
All
right,
those things, we talk about them as myth. ISIS and Thoth and all, it's a myth.
right. So the thing with quantum coherence and decoherence, right?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna see if it gives the definition I'm looking for. Busy tonight, bro. You hear that in my background?
I hear that.
Quantum coherence is a phenomenon where particles like atoms or photons exhibit multiple states simultaneously. So this is coherence. They exhibit multiple states simultaneously, remaining linked or coherent even when separated by large distances. This characteristic is fundamental to quantum mechanics, largely driven by the principle of superposition. Superposition allows quantum particles to be in various possible states at once. Think of it as an object being in two places simultaneously until it's observed. So, coherence is when everything is still basically possible, you know?
Hmm.
Um everything everything can happen at one time and everything exists and doesn't exist at the same time, right? Decoherence, and that's what I'm talking about. I think that I'm wondering if we're going to move to a universal decoherence when humans agree on it. Because what happens with coherence? So, quantum level, right? Basically, the way quantum mechanics describes it, and this is science, folks. This ain't religion. This is science, okay?
Hmm.
If there's a bedroom, right? You go to your bedroom, nobody's in the bedroom, everything is happening at your bedroom, in your bedroom, and nothing's happening in your bedroom. Every possibility exists in there, in that room, your closet, anything where there isn't that's not being observed. All kind of possibilities. That nothing that you think you got a can of soup in there is not a can of soup right now. It's all kind of stuff, right? This is what
Hmm.
science tells us. As soon as
Hmm.
you open that closet door and look into it,
Hmm.
now it's organized. Now
Hmm.
it's the pantry, the way that you left it, right?
Hmm.
So coherence is when everything is in its state of
Hmm.
possibility. Decoherence is when it solidifies into what we know, right? Are you following me?
Yes, I follow you.
Okay, so
Continue.
what I'm saying is, I wonder if we are moving towards a quantum decoherence, like a universal human decoherence, where we finally do all agree on the nature of our reality. And I
Mm,
think, and this is just my hypothesis, I think that what we see is largely different factions fighting on what that agreed reality is going to be,
mm,
right?
mm,
That's
mm. Okay, that's it. That's it
that's
right there.
that
That's
it,
fascinating. I remember I might still have the book too. It's about philosophy, about basic philosophies, and speaks about all the big players, Aristotle and Socrates and all them cats, and it broke down a bit of their um philosophies, their thinking, because that's all they were doing. They were just thinking like me and you think like, wow, it would be nice to have a new pair of sandals, but they weren't thinking like that. They were thinking like, when I leave the room, are the sandals still there?
right,
You see, and
right,
that reminded me of the book, because that was one of the points that they had made. One of the philosophers, that they were thinking like that. Like when it said he was thinking, when you leave the room and you got up from the chair, is the chair still there?
right.
Is it still there? Is it still? And then you would think like, but of course it's there. Yeah, but look at science now. They're catching up to some of this.
And that's the thing, bro.
Hmm.
That's the thing, because everything is coming full circle right now. And again, and this is why I know you and I said it in another show. Like, I'm not waiting for these cats to catch up.
Right.
I'm not waiting for these people to catch up, because they're gonna have us stuck on stupid while we're
Mhm,
having these thoughts. Like just think about just conversations you and I have had off air. Just, you be blowing my mind with stuff, bro. And that right there, like, that's what it's about right there. Like, have your mind blown. You know what I mean? Now you tell me something, I got to go think about that and just, meditate on that for the next week,
mhm.
right? And just the thoughts that come, even you chopping up that clip of that video. Yes, it's me talking, but I said that the other day.
Right, right, right. I
Way you
know.
put it, now you have my mind. You know what I mean? My wheels turning to come to carry forth to this conversation right here. Like, to me, that's what it's about right there. We can't wait for these folks. We can't wait for these folks to go prove what the ancients told us 10,000, 12,000 years ago.
Right,
My
right,
opinion, we can't wait for that. I can't wait. I'll speak for me. I can't wait for that, bro.
right, right. Yeah, there's no better time than the present. That, like I said, I respect all, but I'm working on things here, my own thing, like that. No to disrespect, and some things do puzzle me, like how would people go out and hurt other people, like, or like I told you about the brothers that I was on the men's retreat with, and some of these, like, you ever met that cat that the brothers like militant on it? I mean, I had this one guy. He was one of the other one. Now that I'm thinking that he came here for some deep work. Oh, he was open. He
All
went
right.
full. I mean, he went full throttle. I could tell you a little bit offline about some of those things, but he even bring his brother too, man, and they got into it deep and all that, visions and all that, right? Everything. And then, the guy went full blown Jesus on me and everything. I was like, and then I was trying to tell him like, hey, tell me what you've learned. That's that's beautiful. I want to learn from it. I
Mhm.
I don't know everything. I respect everything, man. But another one just cut me off, like. And every time we was having these conversations, he was like almost militant. And I remember we was texting each other, and I went, "Oh man," I said, I text him, and we were having some conversation, and I went, "Jesus." And he texts back like, don't use the Lord's name in vain and all of that. And he got militant on me. And I was like, yo, check the spelling. It was Jeezus. Like Jesus. Like, you know.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. But some of these folks, they get like that. I'm sure you've met them before. Like, take it
Lots,
easy, bro. Take it
lots,
easy.
and
Yeah.
it's everybody has their process and their place in their process, and you know, when I would say like in my early 20s, I did a lot of sparring with Christians, because of where I was in the Bible Belt, and I was learning about, Asar, a set. I was learning about the Kemetic
Mm,
stuff
right.
in the Bible Belt. And so people say,
Mhm.
"Oh, you going to hell?" Like, am I? I'm just, and mind you, I came from reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
I
right, right.
basically left the Christian religion, and what made me leave was reading the Bible because I was reading it. That's what
Mm.
kind of did it for me because I had so many questions, and I
That'll
realized,
do it.
yeah, that'll do it. I realized, no man can really answer these questions for me,
No.
and why should I rely on another human being to
Mm,
teach me what I can?
right.
What that Because I think that's what the book is for. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to
That's
pick it up.
how they treat the Quran. That's one of the things that I do like about that, is that when you read the Quran, it's your interpretation, whatever you think it is.
And that's the mindset I brought into that because I had heard that about the Quran, that you're
Mhm.
supposed to be able to read it. People memorizing passages. Oh, okay, so let me work my way through these books, but I kind of gave up on the Abrahamic stuff altogether. I was like, I don't have time to. I started. I read like a few chapters in the Quran. I did, but I
Okay.
was like,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
not.
they mention Jesus more than they do Muhammad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they stay
Way.
talking
Oh,
about
they stay talking about
the
Jesus.
Quran. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
I bet
Yep.
you Christians don't know that. I bet you a lot of
No, they
Christians
don't know.
that
Nope.
they really
Nope.
they say he's gonna lead what's it is it Salat, basically the morning prayer. They say when they go fight the Dajjal,
Mm.
Jesus, Prophet Isa is gonna lead. He's gonna lead them in the morning prayer, and then they're gonna go fight the Dajjal. The Dajjal is the one that they call the Antichrist, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Oh no,
Right.
they say
You
Jesus is
see?
gonna be
You
the one
see?
to
Right. You see?
to lead them,
Yeah. Yep.
and they're
Yep.
gonna go smite them, and they're gonna go fight the
Right.
hordes and everything.
Right.
Right in line with that same philosophy. People don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They said that Muhammad was the last prophet.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. For them, yeah, I could see that. I could see he was the last prophet. Like that's all they're saying. They're saying that he was just the last prophet, the last messenger, the messenger.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said that because that comes back again to the Sibyls, right?
Okay.
The unbroken lineage. Even though they have been suppressed, they still exist in different pockets. They exist in Africa. I'm sure they exist in the Americas too. They exist in different places, and you still have these people because like I said, it's women. It's
Mhm.
mainly women, but it's also men who are tapped into this divine mother, the holy mother, quote unquote, holy mother, and that energy, who are still bringing about prophecies. It's
Mhm.
because the thing
Mhm.
that used to trip me out, when I was reading the Bible, I was like, why did it just stop? Like all of a sudden, all those miracles, all that stuff just stopped 2,000 years ago. It didn't stop. Whatever they were talking about, it didn't stop. It didn't. They out here. They getting it in that last little stretch before it gets cold. It didn't stop. You know what they capture in the Bible is just a snippet of in a tradition that goes back way before the Bible was written and way after it was finished being written. And
Mhm.
so they have us think that there was no interaction with the divine beyond a certain point, but that's just not the case. There's
Mhm.
lots of it. These are just the things, the situation that get suppressed, and
Right. Right.
I
The,
mean,
the patriarch. Right.
yeah, the patriarch, and it just
Right.
not just the patriarch, but the violent, murderistic patriarch
Mm.
that we're under. Because now we're talking about people that you know. There was this old Richard Pryor. You remember the Richard Pryor show?
Yes.
Yeah, and did you ever see the one that the episode where he was on an Egyptian expedition?
Yeah, was that the one that's why they canceled the show or
I
something like
think that
that? It
might
was a yeah,
have,
yeah, yep, yep.
but he's over there. He's reading this old scroll. He's the only brother there, and then he's surrounded by a bunch of British Europeans, right? And he said, "Oh, in the what did he say? And the black gods, and when they emerged from the great black womb of the mother, and this and that, and they tried to shut him up. He said, "Get off me, Jack!
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
go tell
yeah,
everybody." You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
what they do? They closed the temple up on him, and they said, "We gotta destroy the temple."
Right,
Right?
right, yep,
Remember that?
yep,
Locked him in
yep,
there with the
yep,
truth,
yep.
right? And that's not a
Oh,
far stretch of what's actually been happening is the suppression of people who are living up until the modern time who have different gifts and different abilities. That's why when the people who do have these abilities, they're not really supposed to speak about it publicly because, and I'm not talking like fantasy, like there's actual people. Like I know I've met people who have some abilities, who have some, you know,
mhm, mhm.
and these people, they can't just go get on a show like this and start talking about it because then they're gonna get
Right, right, yeah, yep,
on their door.
right, right, right,
But they
mhm,
exist today.
right, right.
I'll tell you what, I won't tell you where, but I'll tell you what. I met a sister. I was in a group of people, and when I tell you, this sister can read people's minds, like pull information. I've met a couple people like this, couple sisters like this. They can
Mhm,
read people's minds, but they can pull information out of the mind, and it's not like
mm,
they're trying. You know what I mean? And this sister
right,
she was talking some stuff, and she wasn't saying that she could do it,
mm,
but I was running my own test. So I was thinking something like things that were moving through my mind were coming out of her mouth. I said,
mm,
I said, you read minds, don't you? I said,
mm,
you hear people's thoughts, can't you? She said,
mm,
yeah.
mhm,
Another
mhm,
situation. I'll tell you another situation. A real person that I've met in my life
mm,
said something like, and she and I were having a one-on-one conversation,
mhm,
She said something about, I'm about to put people on to some stuff right
mm,
now, okay? I'm
mhm,
doing this because I love y'all. She said something about, I guess, I think I asked her, I had suspected that she can read minds. I said, "Can you
mm,
read minds? Can you hear thoughts?" She said, "I don't know. Let me try you." And so she put her head up to my head. We
mm,
touched our first eyes.
mm,
And me being the man that I am, I visualized a whirlwind, a tornado going around my head.
mm,
You
mm,
ain't reading my mind
right,
because I
right,
do energy work. I know these things exist. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm.
She steps back. She goes, I can't. I don't know. All I see is a swirling around. I said, this is real life. This is real life, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
telling you, like, I'll give you one
mm,
more story. You want to hear one more?
Go ahead.
More account? This is a true story. I might have told you this. I've told this one on the air before. I was it was at New Life Expo, and this is one of the ones where you had the crystal skull. Somebody had a crystal skull, right? And it was as far as I know, an official crystal skull. It wasn't a human shaped one though. It was some other being. It wasn't a human. It looked like an ape type being, right? But it was a crystal skull. If y'all don't know what it is, look up the crystal skulls. There's like a dozen real ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy was, somehow affiliated with that. And I'm doing my work. I'm doing my Reiki. This is more than a decade ago now. This is like 12, almost maybe 15 years ago, right? Doing my thing, doing my Reiki, doing my energy work. It's a blood moon eclipse, all this stuff going on. You know what I mean? And so in Reiki, one thing that we do is we kind of seal off the room. We put Reiki symbols and we, kind of protect the space. So I'm in like, it was like the New York Hotel or the Hotel Pennsylvania, one of those two.
Right.
I used buildings for my work. You know what I mean? I'll seal
Mhm,
off the big room, the auditorium, then the building and bring in energy, all that
mhm,
stuff, right? And afterwards, I took a little break because now this is probably a couple days into it. And I said, let me walk around because we're working. I'm there with a whole team of healers, like, and just the different healers that were around me. Like, it was powerful day. So I go up and I see the crystal skull. I'm talking to one of the people that's affiliated with it. And he's talking to me. He said something. He said, "Yeah, I saw you doing your work. You doing some serious work." "Yeah, I'm doing some serious work." He said, "Yeah, I saw you using those grids." He said, "I saw you using those grids." Bro, mind you, I'm standing there doing Reiki over people over probably a massage chair. What do you mean you saw me using
Right,
those grids?
right,
There's
right,
no way that anybody could know what I'm doing. I was so exposed that someone
Mm,
could see what I
mm,
was doing.
mm,
He saw me. I was
mm.
exposed, bro.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. I have heard some cases like that where people have these extraordinary abilities to do things, and usually the government snatches them up. If they're really powerful, because they want them. They want them.
There's
They want to
lots
they want to use them.
they
Like
they
that.
they do, and there's lots of people
Yeah.
out here like that. That's all I'm saying. These are three different people, instances in my life and there's more, but these are
Mhm,
just three situations that I've personally experienced.
mhm,
There's lots of
mhm,
people like that, bro, and it's like you said.
mhm, mhm. Right, right. It's a phenomenon that's hard to deny when some things come so strong like that. What could you say about those things? It's some people got some of these things, and I mean that would help to explain some people who are worshipped or venerated in this way. I mean, even some of the big names that we know of, we don't know. We wasn't there. Yeah, turning water to wine, and turn,
Right.
I got my kids asking me that, because they go to a private school, and they start teaching them some of these things, and
Hmm.
I've been boisterous about alcohol, and how I usually don't talk of things like that are evil or of death. I don't speak of because I always try to keep my tone and my words positive. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
self-talk, everything is always up. I always try to, but when it comes to that, I tell them straight up, that's death. So
Mhm.
here they are learning about this guy turning water into wine, and they're looking at
Right.
me like, and then they question, bro. They're like, I'm talking about like 8, 10 year olds, bro, saying, why did he turn the water to wine? I said, that's a good question. Why didn't he turn it to juice, or, or
Why didn't he turn
soda,
wine
or
into water?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 So yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. But
Mm.
people
Wow.
have abilities to do many things, and like the man said, these things I do, you'll be doing greater things.
Hmm.
You know.
Right.
So.
Right. And what about that? Like people, this is the time to be great.
Hmm.
This is the
Hmm.
time, this is the era to
Yeah,
be
it's the
great.
era. It's a beautiful time, and but with all this technology, that there was something that I written down. Can't find it at the moment, but it was saying that we have these ancient bodies, with this high technology, and with these old rules and stuff like that. And how
Mm.
do we navigate through those things now?
Right.
you know
Right.
yeah, well, is it Atlantis again, like this technology? We're reaching really high, but we don't have the capabilities to handle those things. We haven't evolved in that way.
Well, I'm glad you said that too, because this is another. Yeah, I think about when it's time to come on the show. I think about a lot of things, right? Leading up to the show. And that's another one where we are dealing with the technology, forgetting that we are also interfaces. Our bodies, our energy fields. It goes back to the observer effect that we
Mhm,
spoke about last week.
mhm,
We Once we are observing an experiment, we become a part of the experiment.
mhm,
And so I suspect that ancient people understood this a little better than we understand it to get today. We're still wrapping our minds around it. Like the two slit experiment should be taught in every school. That should be the basics. Like,
Mhm.
listen, throw
Yep.
all the other stuff out. Two
Right.
slits.
Right. Whether we understand it, just say the facts and what it is and teach them. Why? Because you don't know who's going to come up with something.
Right.
It
Especially
could be,
children.
yeah, especially children. It could be little Jose, in the
Right.
corner, and he'll come out with this. Hey, have you ever thought of? And they'll be like, oh,
That's it. The whole
that's
thing.
it. That's it. Yep. Yeah. Now we can
Jose
leave the
has a
planet,
300
or
IQ. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Instead, it's like, oh,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So we are also the interface devices.
Mm,
There's something about us that shouldn't be ignored when it comes to how experiments are being run. That shit up good. Yo, it's popping tonight, man.
it's the summer, the end of summer. They're trying to get it in.
The last 72 hours of
Oh
summer.
my God. Where you at again?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, you're Brooklyn. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. This
Okay. Okay.
the last 72 hours
The
of
72
summer.
hours, Brooklyn. That's it. Where's Brooklyn at?
Right.
Okay. So yeah. These
Yeah,
things, these
bro.
con. Mhm, go
Mhm.
ahead.
Yeah. So that's just it. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said, my opinion, right? There's something to be said about how our bodies are technology too, and how we interact with these experiments that we're running. And like I think that's a whole wave that has yet to be tapped into as far as science. Science to
Mhm.
me, there's a lot of interesting things happening, but we're still at like the base level.
Yeah.
The Atlantis thing you said just made me think about that. Like these people, they were, like just think about fasting as a technology, or fasting as a technological practice, right there.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. To tap into that thing, whatever that thing is, to reach that thing.
Right,
Or to be that thing, to learn that thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right. That's a huge one.
yeah. It's a huge one. I know. But for some reason they don't want us doing those things. That's why they just keep throwing us these fast foods and like, oh man, what is it? Chick-fil-A. Like, Chick-fil-A. It's like they said that's it's not even chicken.
It's not
And I got one down here by where I live, man. And every time I drive by, the drive-by line is like up the block, bro.
insane.
Like you think they were giving it away for free.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's all over the internet. They got like something like 193 different ingredients and
bro. That
yeah, it's just low vibration.
it is, and I wasn't. It's funny because look, this is again from the Sybil's book. So at a family at a what do you call it? A funeral, we have the repast, right?
The repass?
Yeah. Where everybody gathers and eats, and
I didn't
after
know it was called that, the repass.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, but there's that gathering after the
right,
ceremony or the event or the viewing and all the. Yeah, okay,
right,
go ahead.
right. So check this out, right? This is from page 78 of the Mami Wata book. They, the prophetesses, preached the end of the world, were the first to introduce dietary restrictions such as fasts and festivals, meals and parched food, and repasts fast
Mm,
of radishes, alleging that they, the Montanus, had been instructed by women to do so. Repast is the
mm,
fast, according to this. In the
mm,
modern times, we go and we eat and everything after a funeral, but according to the
mm,
Mami Watas, or excuse me, the Sibyls,
mhm,
you're supposed to fast afterward.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow. You see how they got us twisted up there, bro?
All twisted.
I know. I know.
Because
I
now what
know.
happens? We get this comfort food. You know what I'm saying? Food that
Right.
makes us feel good.
Right. Yeah. And you would think that would make this strong correlation to that male energy, that dominance, that consuming of the, instead of, the female, which would be more light-hearted, more like
Mm,
fasting and more spiritual.
right.
Yeah,
Let me make
yeah.
myself lighter for a minute.
Let me make my lighter for a minute. That's right. More spiritual. Get in touch with that. Instead, it's like just devour all the dead flesh
Right.
on the table.
And
Yeah.
pass out.
Yeah, yeah, and pass out. Yeah, don't pass me the potato salad while you at it. And
Right.
yeah, but it would speak to that because females, as we started the show talking about how, these women or God as a woman, a woman God, if anything, because that has that energy. I was looking up in the Hindu religion, in the Hindu belief system, right? The highest divine female is considered to be Mahadevi. Okay,
Mm,
she's also known as Adi Parashakti, the supreme goddess and ultimate reality, from whom all other Hindu goddesses are considered manifestations.
wow.
So Mahadevi is the female one who has given birth to all the other female goddesses, Durga and Kali, Lakshmi, if you know Lakshmi,
Mm,
uh, Sarasvati, also,
mm.
so there it is, that female again. It's just undeniable. It's there in recorded history. Remember, I think on the other show we were talking about the figure of the woman
Yes.
that they had found all over the planet. The same similar to one. All over the planet, all over.
Right. You know, even going back to what I was saying about that decoherence, like
Mm,
more and more, I think that's what it's about because they have us agreeing. They have, I shouldn't say us. They have people agreeing that this world wasn't once connected, like that this different civilizations weren't once connected, that they
mm,
never knew each other and didn't interact with each other.
mm,
But
mm,
there's so much evidence that they did
mm,
because we find different cultural things. Like there's so much comedic stuff in the Americas,
mm,
and it shows that there was an interaction. And then you've got American stuff in Africa. How
mhm,
to get there? You got tobacco, you got corn. How to get there?
mm, mm,
Pre-European,
mhm,
because they were,
mhm,
if at
mhm.
the very least, they were interacting with each other.
Yes.
You got cocaine,
Mhm,
tobacco, and corn. Three things
mhm.
that were found in Africa that specifically come from the Americas.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
There you
mhm,
go. There
mhm.
you go. What they call that? The Venus.
Yeah, the Venus of Willendorf.
Willendorf.
But they found this same figure and others, some variations, but the same thing, with the big buttocks, with the big breasts, the big voluptuous, oversized. But it's the goddess, it's the
Mhm.
mother goddess, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's all there, brother. It's all there.
Yeah.
Mm. All right, man. I think that's it, brother. I think that's it. We did close to 2 hours talking right there, and plenty of information, man. I'm still chopping up that last one, bro. Really? Yep. I'm about to put that one out, and because I like to rerun them on Instagram again, so people can tap in. And
Yeah.
I seen people was loving the show here too, man. I saw a couple of people who follow Omziel, that they were listening in. Sometimes they tap in for a little bit. I see them come in. I cannot see them leave, but some stay for the whole show too. And
Hmm.
I thank them. You
Right.
know for tapping in. And I'm not saying, hey, we're not going to agree on everything.
Right.
We're not going to agree on everything.
We're not. not supposed to.
We're
It's
not supposed to. No, no. But I say we could come to the table and respect one another. You know, especially when I'm coming to the table with I'm not making a stand on anything. Like, I'm open. I'm open.
just talking here,
I'm just talking. I say, yeah. I say I see this and there's truth in it, and let me see your thing because
Right.
I can see the truth in it too.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay, bro. And I
Mhm.
don't say that out of fear or anything like that. I say that out of love, out of from my heart. That I respect all, man. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. And another thing from the heart, if you can just tell us a little about this weekend before we get out of here.
All right. Before we get out of here, we have the Purple Sage Festival. I mean, there's people coming through here. We have all kinds of vendors and we have different artists that are performing as well. And I've been putting up so much content, bro. Just on effort alone, half the neighborhood should show up, bro.
Mm.
But I'm having a good time with it, man, and I'm learning a lot of things too. And people are loving the content, so I love putting it out. I'm having fun with it. I put myself out there in all kinds of ways. I be silly and funny, and I just love it, man. Why? Because I want people to see that this is what it's about. Like lower the walls, lower your walls, man. Let's just enjoy. The Purple Sage Festival, what we like to say is that it's not spiritual, it's you.
Mm.
You see, that's our tagline because we're doing the opposite of what other people are doing. They're coming with this whole, oh, it's a spiritual thing, and then you can see maybe it's not.
Right.
Then they're serving tequila in the back room, or
Mm.
or barbecued fried, roaches with beef on this, it's that's not nothing spiritual about that. But we're just saying we're here, we're open, great music, great food, great beverages. It's a family thing. Kids are free. The ticket price is super affordable. I mean, we're still offering some great discounts. If you stood to the end of the podcast right here in the broadcast, man, we'll give you 50% off of the ticket right there.
Mm.
50%. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep. And we're at that point where you use code breath, breath on
Mm.
the checkout, and that will give you 50%. We got the 20% out there and people loving it. But we're ready to go, man. We're ready. We're ready. We got all the instruments. We have a whole schedule of things that are happening. It's an interactive festival, so people are not just gonna eat and sit down and hear music, get in the car and drive home. No, we have like this whole thing, and it's optional. Like, let's say you don't want to get up and do it. It's okay. It's all right.
Mm.
But we got this thing, and if you open to it, let's go. We're gonna have a great, great, grand time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that, brother.
Mm.
Thank you for this conversation. As always, we be like, oh, we might do an hour, and then here we are 2 hours later, and we started late.
Yep, yep. It's all good. I love it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. Thank you so much for being so open and with so much respect and reverence toward everything,
yeah,
everything.
yeah. All right. Thank you. As always, big shout out to super producer Cindy Ashby for putting this together.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for the platform. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
All right, brother.
All right. Peace and love. Thank you for tapping in, family.